In the headlines, 45 people dead after strange disease hits Kano community. Kaduna Assembly sets up committee to probe Elrufai. Military airstrike kills 30 terrorist kingpins fighters in Borno. And on the foreign scene, Israeli attack on Gaza police vehicle kills 8. Hello, welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I am Lilian Ogazi. Now to the news in details. At least 45 individuals have died due to an outbreak of a mysterious disease in Bandits village located in Kura local government area of Kano State. According to residents, the majority of the victims are women, children and the elderly exhibiting symptoms such as malaria, diarrhea and vomiting. Abu Sani, a resident who tragically lost 2 children, recounts how the indiscriminate deaths in their village began approximately 2 weeks ago. Initially, the residents assumed these deaths were typical and resulted from common illnesses. However, concern grew when the community started burying 5 individuals a day, signaling a deeper and more alarming issue. During a visit to Gandus, a dispensary clinic, officials have documented 20 deaths related to the outbreak. The health worker at the clinic, who requested anonymity, disclosed that they have reported the incident to the Ministry of Health. Additional water and blood samples have been collected for laboratory testing to determine the underlying cause of the illness. While the government has yet to release the test results, there are speculations that poor environmental hygiene in Gandutse village could be a contributing factor to the disease outbreak. It is suspected that water in certain areas of the village may have become contaminated, potentially exaggerating the situation. Gunmen suspected to be bandits have killed Musa Ile, the secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Safe local government area of Zamfara State. Ile was killed in front of his house when the assailants invaded his house on Monday night. The PDP chairman in the local government, Garba Garawa, confirmed the killing of the party's secretary in Safe on Tuesday. A resident of the area, Abubakar Safi, also said when the gunmen entered the area, they called the secretary to come check something at the back of his house. According to him, Ile came outside not knowing there were bandits armed with weapons. Police authorities in the state were yet to comment on the incident. Meanwhile, troops of the Nigerian military attached to Operation Hadin Kai in the northeast have neutralized more terrorists, commanders and over 30 members in the Lake Chad region of Borno State. Now, it was learned that the air component of the operation rained airstrikes on the adversaries following the terrorists' refusal to surrender their weapon and ammunition to the military after a series of appeals by the authority and community leaders. No fewer than 50 terrorist commanders have been taken out by the military across all theaters of operation, particularly in the northwest and northeast in the last 1 year. The military high command last month declared high-profile terrorist commanders, including Simon Ekpa, the notorious leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, wanted over their nefarious activities. The spokesman of the Nigerian Air Force, Edward Gabet, who confirmed this to journalists in Abuja, explained that terrorists' numerous motorcycles and logistical assets were destroyed. Gabwet, an air vice marshal, said the air troops executed a precision airstrike on the hideouts of ISWAP terrorists nestled within Koleram village along the shores of Lake Chad. In Nasarawa State, the state government has prescribed all ethnic vigilante groups operating across 13 local government areas of the state. Similarly, the state government has equally issued a 2-week ultimatum to all ethnic vigilante groups affected by the order to hand over their uniforms and weapons to the State Commissioner of Police, Shehu Nadada, citing the powers vested in him via Section 97A of the Penal Code, as well as other relevant laws vested in him. The governor, acting on the advice of the State Security Council, especially banned the Fulani ethnic vigilante group known as the Kuyinga Yaman Lafia Bassa Vigilante Group, as well as the Egon Vigilante Group. Through an executive order 1 of 2024 signed by the governor and issued on Tuesday, the Nasarawa state government also banned any other association, movement, organization, or society affiliated with the group operating under the guise of ethnic vigilante. Trust TV reports that Bello Bodejo, the detained president of Miyetti Allah Kutal Hore, had denied linking Nasarawa Governor Abdullahi Sule to his saga with security agencies. Some Fulani settlers in Ogun State have decried attacks on their settlement by miscreants whom they also said set their shelter ablaze and vandalized their properties and food. The leader of the Fulanis residing at Ikala Shiwama area of Shagam, Jafaru Isa, alleged that the police have failed to investigate the issues even after they reported the matter on 3 different occasions. Trust TV Abbas Ibrahim Dalibi now reports.
The headers decried what they describe as negligence on the part of the police in investigating the attack and burning of their settlement by some miscreants who were escorted by some gunmen. According to Isa, although they were given 2 weeks to vacate the area, they could not salvage anything as the miscreants returned to demolish the place much earlier than 2-week ultimatum. They burnt all our belongings, including our foodstuffs and my 350 naira cash, which I got recently from selling my cow. Amina, another victim, disclosed that they were attacked on 17th of March during the Ramadan, adding that all their belongings were set ablaze. She lamented that they celebrate Eid al-Fitr in hunger with nothing to rejoice about. The very day they attacked us, 2 of our women who were heavily pregnant delivered babies. As we later found out, since they had no shelter, rain fell on the newborn babies and their mothers, and as I speak to you now, they are all sick and we don't have money to take them to the hospital. We need the government and other public spirited individuals to help us and also investigate this matter. They also disclosed that it was the owner of the land, one Emmanuel, who fenced it and asked them to build their house on it, pending on when he will use the land, adding that despite that assurance, we still evicted them on a short notice. When contacted, the spokesperson of the Ogun State Police, Omolola Odutola, said although she is not aware of the incident, the headers, according to her, are residing in shanties, which is unlawful, as they are illegal structures that breed criminals. Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
The government of Niger State says it has established a trauma healing center at the Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida Specialist Hospital, Mina, the state capital, to test and counsel banditry and accident victims on trauma-related challenges. The Commissioner for Secondary and Tertiary Health, Tukabelu, made this known during the commemoration of the 2024 World Health Day with the theme, Your Health, Your Right, jointly organized by the World Health Organization and State Ministry of Health. He said the idea was conceived after reports from health workers in the facility who reported have noticed trauma-related challenges being faced by the victims of banditry and accidents each time they were brought to the hospital for treatment. Now, he lamented that IBB Specialist Hospital was strategic in providing healthcare services in the state, but had suffered serious neglect in the past years, saying that things that needed regular maintenance, including equipment, were allowed to rot. He said the state government was also taking steps to track and address unprofessional health practices, especially in rural areas where access to healthcare services was difficult for residents due to insecurity or distance from healthcare centers. And in Kaduna, the State House of Assembly has set up a committee to examine the books of the state under the administration of Nasir Elrufai, immediate past governor of the state. The committee has been tasked with looking at loans, grant, and project implementations from 2015 to 2023, the period which Elrufai held sway as governor. On March 30th, Ubasani, governor of Kaduna, said his administration inherited a debt of $587 million, 85 billion naira, and 115 contractual liabilities from the Elrufai administration. Speaking during a town hall meeting, Sani also said he has not borrowed a kobo in the last 9 months. He, however, said the huge debt burden is eating deep into the state's share of the monthly federal allocation. And in Kano, the Anti-Corruption and Public Complaint Commission in Kano State says it has filed fresh charges of corruption and maladministration against the ex-governor of the state, Abdullahi Ganduje. The commission alleged that Ganduje's government took 1 billion naira from the state coffers a month to the expiration of the administration's tenure. In May 2023, adding that the money was sent to Bureau de Change operators and not used for road renovation as earmarked. The Kano anti-graft chairman, Magaji, who said he was being viewed as a stubborn person in some quarters, insisted that the court ruled that money laundering was a federal offense, but the commission has the right to probe alleged corruption and maladministration by the Ganduje administration. Magaji said though he was appointed by Ganduje to head the agency, he won't hesitate to prosecute alleged corruption by the immediate past administration in the states. Meanwhile, the Kano High Court would arraign Ganduje on Wednesday, April 17, 2024, on charges bordering on allegation of bribery, diversion, and misappropriation of funds, including the purported acceptance of $413,000 and 1.3 billion naira in bribes. Ganduje, who was Kano governor between May 2015 and 2023, has been under pressure to resign his position as the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress. This is Trust News Updates coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, survivor of Chibok abduction drums support for renewed efforts to rescue those still in captivity. More news when we return. Just stay. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Updates on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories. 45 people dead after strange disease hits Kano community. And Kaduna Assembly sets up committee to probe Elrufai. Now moving on, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NACA) has suspended the permit of 3 private jet operators for engaging in commercial flights. The acting director general of NACA, Chris Njomo, announced the suspension of the 3 private operators in the Riot Act read to all airlines on Tuesday. NACA boss said the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, gave marching orders for the cessation of the use of private jets for commercial purposes in 2023. But the operators continued in such act. He added that the authority has also deployed its officials to monitor activities of private jets at terminals across the airports in Nigeria. He maintains that in line with the ministry's zero tolerance for violation of regulations, the authority has suspended the PNCF of these defaulting operators. Saratu Ayuba, one of the 128 rescued Chibok schoolgirls from Borno State, is calling for concerted efforts from relevant authorities to rescue the 89 girls who are still in captivity. She made this call in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, on the sidelines of an event commemorating the 10th anniversary of the Chibok schoolgirl kidnapping incident. Salis Lawan has the report.
Even before the Chibok schoolgirls were kidnapped a decade ago, the educational aspirations of girls in northern Nigeria are limited. Stakeholders believed concrete steps must be taken to address the root cause of conflict, extremism and violence against the women and girls, including widespread poverty, insecurity, and lack of economic opportunities. While the experiences of fugitives and freed people vary, Saratu Ayuba shares her personal experiences after adoption.
10 years ago, we were seated in our hostels, living life as usual, not knowing the tragic incident that will soon change our destinies. I stand before you all as a testament that indeed, where there is life, there is hope. For these 3 years, We groveled and waited for the light at the end of the tunnel, with the passing days being an actualization of our faith.
Usually about a month later we celebrate Release Day, which is a more upbeat, exciting type of party day, but this one's more of a solemn opportunity to hear poems, reflections, and to really pray and to be thinking about those that are still in the Sambisa forest, because it's not acceptable. They need to be home with their parents, and they need to be here with the family, and these sisters here cry and pray for them all the time. So it's touched my heart for over a decade, even in America, before I came here.
After their freedom, the government promised to provide them with educational opportunities. Of the 128 people, about 100 are undergoing various stages of training.
The chosen one, the one with the destiny to change the world. They forgot that my destiny is Psalm chapter 138, and the Lord will accomplish all that concerns me. They forgot that I am a winner.
Following this abduction, the Nigerian government doubled its efforts to improve security and address broader issues of terrorism and insecurity in the country. Through these concerted efforts, the government secured the release and rescue of 108 of the abducted schoolgirls.
A recent study by the United Nations in Nigeria found out that the security flaws that lead to the Chibok kidnapping a decade ago continue in many schools with minimal security standards such as perimeter fencing and security. Silas Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
Meanwhile, the Bayelsa State Independent Electoral Commission, BISEC, has presented certificate of return to the newly elected councillors in Yenagoa local government area of the state. The presentation follows the successful conduct of local government elections on April 6th across the state. Trust TV's Friday Ebimobwe, Peter, completes the story.
The Yenagoa City Mayor charged the new councillors to see themselves as trustees of Yenagoa in their various wards and be objective in the discharge of their responsibilities.
I want to appreciate the Commission for concluding this process and today finally certificates of return have been given to all the elected councillors. On the part of the councillors, this is a trust. Let's not see ourselves as the emperors of Yenagoa or our various words, but we should see ourselves as trustees who has the mandate of the people to hold power in trust for the benefits of all of them. And so let's cooperate all together as one family, so that the desire in Yenagoa of our brains can be achieved.
Speaking shortly after receiving their certificates of return, the newly elected councillors of Ward 6, Ward 4, Constituency 1 and Ward 15 expressed gratitude to everyone for their support and assure the people of an inclusive representation.
We have successfully received our certificate of return. I want to use this opportunity to promise my people that me and my chairman and other councillors will work fairly, and accordingly there will be no trouble, and we'll make sure that we achieve the Yenagoa of our dream in this present era of government.
I'm ready to work as a legislature in the local government to represent my good people of Ward 4. The wealth of experience has to come in because over the years I've been yearning for this, and it has come. One of the basic things I know that also disturbs me a lot is the way people, indiscriminately throw off bins at the river banks and all that, hereby blocking our normal waterways that we used to travel back in the days and ages.
And I will represent them very well. I will carry everybody along. Everybody will work with me. I will not segregate or separate anyone. And the little development that will enter my hand, I will take it to my place and make sure the development take place in my place, for people to see that where they vote me in. I did something.
The certificates of return were presented by the commissioner representing Yenagoa in the Bayelsa State Electoral Commission, BISEC, Marshal Abraham, at the Yenagoa Local Government Council Hall. From Yenagoa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter. Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
And on the foreign scene, 8 people believed to be law enforcement officers tasked with protecting aid have been killed in an Israeli army attack on a vehicle in Gaza City. The attack took place in the Tufa neighborhood of eastern Gaza City. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabian Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud says de-escalation must be everyone's priority because the Middle East cannot afford another conflict. The UN Human Rights Office has in the meantime called on Israeli security forces to immediately end their active participation in and support for attacks by Jewish settlers on Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. The statement follows a wave of settler attack on Palestinian towns and villages in the West Bank triggered by a weekend killing of a 14-year-old Israeli boy in what authorities said was an anti-Israel attack. And in sport, Atletico Madrid coach Diego Simeone has disclosed that the team has a stronger game plan to overcome Borussia Dortmund in the second leg of the UEFA Champions League this Tuesday. Record that Atletico will be taking a slim advantage to Germany after winning the first 2-1 leg last week. In a press conference, Simeone stated that Atletico Madrid will face a tough game against Borussia Dortmund. Simeone said the club is working very well and has grown with the important result obtained in La Liga, adding that it will be a good evening in the Champions League. He vowed to face their opponent with enthusiasm, adrenaline, nerves, fears, and responsibility to ensure victory. With that, we've come to the end of News Updates on Trust TV. Do well to follow us on all our social media handles. I am Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for watching.